Greetings, it is Colin Clapp from Online Marketing Done For You and coming at you with another session, continuing our dive into improving your website effectiveness and in turn improving your website return on investment. So today we're looking at how much are visitors interested in your website. I'll do a quick recap in a minute, but just before I go on, remember, if you know anyone suffering from the frustration of unfulfilled website expectations, please share this talk. This series of talks that have been given for the last 9 days is for any small business owner who has never received a website performance report, or they have, but it was so long ago and they wouldn't know how to get it again, or they have it, but it was too overwhelming, or it's just in the too hard basket, or it's too sporadic. So they'll be pleased to know that they're not alone from suffering from this disease, and this series of videos could help them. So yeah, and another thing, a quick heads up, this time next week, I will be giving a live masterclass on the 5 key steps to making friends with Google using free tools. Okay, so if you want to register, or if you want to watch this video again or catch up on any of the other live videos, you can access all of this from onlinemarketingdoneforyou.com/links. I'll put it on the screen there now. You should be able to see that. Okay, I'll bring that back up a little bit later. So that's onlinemarketingdoneforyou.com/links, and all these videos, registration, a few other freebies, you can get them all there. And remember, as I say, if you want to share or subscribe, just hit the subscribe button, like this video, and tell your friends about it. Okay, on with the show. So yeah, today's topic is how much are visitors interested in your website. So just quick recap. So first of all, last week we sort of dived into the bigger, I had a look at the bigger picture. Remember, your website investment is a significant investment, and I believe it's just wrong for you not to know the score. It's simply wrong to be playing the game of website marketing, online marketing, and not know the score. So if you're not receiving regular data, the data is freely available and you should have access to it. And it can be served up in a variety of flavors. And but when you know the score, at least you can improve the game. What else did we look at last week as part of the bigger picture? We looked at how search can help you, using the analogy of libraries and how efficient they are. Push versus pull marketing. How an engine can make a big difference to whether people are coming to you or whether you're having to find customers. We talked about you can't manage what you can't measure, and the benefits of having data. So that was all last week, and it's in the videos. This week we've been sort of diving a little bit into the specifics of the data. My aim has always been to try and use plain language. I'm really trying to work hard not to go into the techie stuff, because that's not of interest to you. If you're a business coach or a landscape gardener, lawyer, a professional accountant, even dentists, doctors, if you're an event manager, if you make furniture, if you make widgets, if you're a builder, electrician, carpenter, plumber, I'm using retailer. I use the shop analogy quite a lot. So any kind of retailer, I'll come to this. If you haven't got the data, then you're not going to know how to move on from it. Okay, so we started on Monday with how many people know that your website and your business even exists. On Tuesday, we talked about what they are interested in. How do you find that out? And today, it's about finding out how much are they interested. Okay, so Monday, how many people are interested? So that's like the people coming into the shop, may or may not be purchasing, which is a different issue, conversions, but are they coming into the shop? What are they interested in? So that's like the analogy of where are they going in the shop? You know, what parts of the shop are they interested in? And then today is like, well, how long are they hovering around? You know, because if they're spending more time here, then we know that and they're not converting. Then we know that they're interested, but we're not converting them. You know, we know they're interested in a few things, but we're not converting. So anyway, how do we find out how much people are interested? Well, today that is all about, in the Google language, that's called bounce rate and average session duration. So let me just explain. Bounce rate is the percentage of visitors who leave your site after only seeing one page. In other words, they ask a question in search, your page gets served up, they come to your page and they bounce off straight away. Now there are two reasons this could happen. One's good, one's not so good. The good one is that they actually get the answer from their perspective and they disappear. The problem is it still counts as a bounce, and a high bounce rate is not something we really want. But as I say, all of this week, we're not trying to isolate. This is not about getting one statistic and saying this is the be all and end all. This is about how can we look at the big picture and have some data that's going to help us make better marketing decisions, and that's going to improve our website effectiveness, and it's going to improve our website return on investment. Okay. So the flip side is that they don't get an answer and they bounce off pretty much instantaneously. And that's definitely what we want to try to avoid. Okay, so a bounce rate is different from an exit rate. I'm not really going to dive too much into exit rates, but a Google Analytics exit rate is measuring the last page people view before they leave. That was preceded by another page. So an exit rate will only come up if they have visited more than one page. So ultimately there's always an exit page since people can't stay on your site 24/7, but there doesn't have to be a bounce. Okay. So to clarify, bounce rate is triggered when there is only one page visit during a session, and an exit rate is triggered when the page visited is the last one of a session. So let me just go into what a session duration is. So session duration, which is previously known as Google Analytics average time on site, is defined as the time frame during which there are regular active events from a user on a website. So that could be a click here, a mouse scroll, anything that's going on, you know, from page to page to page. If they're staying on your site, that's classified as a session. Okay, and the session is timed out when there's no activity from the user, the visitor, for a predefined time duration, which is usually defaulted to 30 minutes. Okay, as I say, don't want to dig too deep onto the technical side of things. It's more just a case of you understanding, having a basic awareness of how that's done. So let's just I'll just go into screen share mode so that you can see where these data points are. First one we can find in behaviour. Oops, excuse me. So let's just check. Yeah, okay, so we're on the opening page of Get to Know Your Customers, where you need to sign into Analytics, and we're already signed in. So I'm just continuing with where we were yesterday, and let me just excuse me just 1 second. Oh, so yes, here we are. This is the Google Analytics homepage. I always like to show you this because this is, you know, Google even calls it the marketing platform. They have all these free tools to help you, and you know, straight there on the homepage, Get to Know Your Customers. So we're logged into Analytics already, and as per previous videos, we're looking at dummy data from Google's own website. And So not breaking any confidentiality, and just this is here to show people what is possible. Okay, so yeah, we go to behaviour. It's slow today. Here we go, an overview. And what we will see from the overview is a bunch of statistics, including the bounce rate. So there we go. Here you see the overall bounce rate, 42.94. Just hover over the percentage of single page sessions in which there was no interaction with the page. Bounce session has a duration of 0 seconds. And so I'm not going to get into the techie, that's just going to bore the pants off of you. And we're not really interested in that, we're interested in trends. So that is an overall bounce rate for your site, which you kind of be sort of taking, having an awareness of. But there are plenty of other places that you can see the bounce rate metric. You can go to all pages. So if we go to site content and look at all pages, we looked at this yesterday, how you can find out what people are interested in. So on the list, on the left here, we have a list of pages. This is how you can tell what people are interested in. And as you can see there, one of the columns is bounce rate. So it's got the overall site one there, site rate, but literally you can tell page by page how your bounce rate's performing. So you could sort that by that column and see, you know, these pages here. I mean, Google's got hundreds of pages, thousands of pages, and you probably won't have as many, and it will be useful to know what pages are bouncing. Okay, so what is the session duration? We talked about that. It's average time on site, and that's related to how interested they are, because if they're moving around looking at different things, then you know they're interested, and this kind of links to how many pages per session, etc. So quick, to find this, we go to audience, overview, and we should get on the dashboard there, average session duration. So this is site-wide, and that's what you're after at this stage. So I should have said that in the bounce rate, you can also go to places like acquisition. So this is how people found your site, and we'll talk about that a bit tomorrow. You can look at all these stats here. I'll go with all traffic, so go to channels. So we're going to dive into this a little bit more tomorrow, but you'll see that the bounce rate comes up here, so again site-wide, and then you're getting bounce rates per the different metrics. So I'm going to come back to those a little bit and what those mean tomorrow. Okay, let's go back to here and see, we'll leave the screen sharing alone. So yeah, am I back? Has that worked? Am I there? Oh yeah, I'm there, sorry. Okay, yeah, so why do these stats matter? Well, in relation to your website effectiveness and your website return on investment, both are indicators of how much visitors to your site are interested in what you have to offer. So I'm going to go back to my shop analogy again. I think I've already sort of mentioned it, but it's worth repeating. You can have people lining up outside the door and never come through the door. When they come through the door, if they leave without buying, that's a different problem from getting them through the door. If they come into the shop and they hover in one area, you know, one corner or one aisle or whatever, and don't buy, then you know you've got a different problem. It's converting that particular product. And the same thing could be said for how long they stay. What about if they come into your store, they actually look around all of your store, they poke their nose down different aisles, and they still don't buy. So now it could be something else. It might not be the products, it might be the ambience, it might be the people, it might be the overall pricing. Who knows? But if they were in there a long while, that is telling me more than if they just walked through the door and left again. So these stats, bounce rate and average session duration, are indicators that if you're aware of them, you can be making better marketing decisions about how your website could be performing. All right. So the only time that you're not really worried about something like bounce rate or session duration is if you have got a single page that is supposed to be doing a sales job, and it might be that it's specifically trying to sell a product, or you're trying to get people over the line and you have no interest in sending them off to another link or trying to get them to navigate around your site. So, squeeze pages, landing pages fall into this category where you just send someone there and you're just trying to get a result, and that is them to click on one button and convert. Well, in that case, you are going to have a high bounce rate and you're not worried about it. Okay, so again, no one stat in isolation is going to be the be-all and end-all. It's getting an overall picture as to how your goods and services are being represented through your website, and in making that website more effective to clinch those sales and those conversions. Okay, so remember, this is what it's all about: converting. So I'm not interested. I talked about this. This has got nothing to do with you needing a new website. This is about having an effective website that converts. And first of all, it's converted into traffic, i.e. people come and see what you have to offer, and then it's converted into leads, and then it's converted into sales, and it's a gradual process, and I repeat, invariably, you do not need a new website. Unless your website is an absolute disaster, you do not need a website. But if you have a good-looking website that is not living up to expectations, that is an indicator that a more effective website is what you need. So how can we improve on those things? So they're a little bit related to what we talked about yesterday in what people are interested in. So I gave you some indicators of how you could experiment with putting other content. So maybe if you've got a big list of goods and services you offer, you could look at breaking those down into, like, there's a page specifically for each service, and then that way people who are looking for that small component of your service have got a greater chance of finding an answer that they're interested in, whereas if they landed on a generic page where it's just in the middle, they might miss it or might not deem that page worthy of pursuing. So yeah, creating new content can be useful. Always CTAs, but going back to what I said on Monday or Tuesday, keeping it simple. Make your visitors happy. Create a great user experience underpinned by relevant content and great presentation. Keep your content engaging to the eye. If articles are too long in their use of large blocks, people just are not interested, and you'll likely lose the visitor. Allow people to skim read. Put headers in or visuals. If your website's very text based, you maybe want to look at putting in some images. Literally, it could be photos. It could be charts. Just could be a few line breaks, a couple of call to action buttons, anything that changes the skimming technique. All right. Be clear and concise with your use of menus and titles, so it's easy for people to understand where they are on your site and how they can move around. Categorization and internal linking is what we talked about. You want people to be able to navigate your site very easily. And all these things reduce bounce rate and increase session duration, and are they're helping that sort of know, like, and trust factor increase, where they're going to feel like they want to proceed to the next stage of the buying pathway. And little things like embrace white space. Don't overcrowd your site. Don't put too many distractions on there if at all. You want to make sure your visitors are not sort of being put off by pop-ups and things like that. That's not to say there's not a time and space for those things, but being careful about when and how you use those. And I've already talked about it. Make sure you use internal linking. So yeah, if we use that analogy of if you've got a list of services and you're only representing them all in one page at the moment, you could create new pages for each of those services to have a far more detailed description, but then you make sure on the overview page you put links to each of those. That's called internal linking, and it gives the user, as soon as they might read the third one on the list, go, yep, that's what I'm looking for, and they click on that, navigate to the page where they're getting deep, they're getting far more deeper. Now they're associating you with the answer to that question, because your first page helped them find what they want. Now they're getting deeper, and if you construct that page well with a good call to action, like phone here or book a schedule an appointment, you're well on the road to turning that into a more effective website page and a website and converting it into results. Okay, all right. So we've been going a few minutes. I don't want to go too long. So tomorrow we're getting close to wrapping up this series. As I said, we've got a masterclass coming up next week. But tomorrow, I want you to tune in, because we are going to be going to look at who is interested in your website and where do they come from. So, like I've said before, making friends with Google can improve your business. Google gives you free tools to do it. This week we've looked at how many people. You can find out that information. We've looked at what interests them. We've looked at how much they can be interested, and tomorrow we're going to find out who and where they come from. Okay, so remember, you can register for the masterclass. You can catch up on any of these videos. You can also get links to the articles written about this subject. You can also get access to our free online return on investment calculator. It's all at onlinemarketingdoneforyou.com/links. Go there, help yourself to anything you want, and I will see you tomorrow. Over and out for now. Bye-bye.